Hello and welcome to AFSPA Live, our monthly digital broadcast designed to give AFSPA members and eligible federal employees a place to ask questions and get answers about past AFSPA Talks topics, their benefits, and wellness needs. You can ask your question through the chat box on whichever social media platform you're streaming AFSPA Live, YouTube, Facebook, or LinkedIn. If you're not able to join us live, call our toll-free line prior to the broadcast at 888-435-0757 and leave our team a voice message that we may play back and answer live on air. Just tell us who you are and the question you'd like us to answer. I'll see you at the next AFSPA Live.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to AFSPA Live, a live video broadcast Q&A session that we stream usually every last Thursday of the month at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. My name is Maddie Norton. I'm a Senior Communication Coordinator here at AFSPA, and I'm excited to be moderating the show today. And if you weren't aware, it's open season. So today we are discussing all things open season. And as always, we have Kyle Longton, AFSPA CEO, with us. Kyle, how are you?
I'm all right, and I want to say a special thank you to the One Welbeck Clinic in London. I am in London for open season activities, and in between meetings, I wanted to make sure I could join you, Maddie, and our members who are tuning in. And they offered me space and, more importantly, stable Wi-Fi. So I can't promise I won't get interrupted, but if I do, I'll be back on as quickly as possible. So I'm excited. And Maddie, I think we might even have the flexibility to do a somewhat longer episode today, right? Just in case We've got more questions.
Yes, we anticipate lots of questions. We had lots of questions on the form that we have for the show. So we're going to try to get to all of those and also answer questions live from the chat. So let's go ahead and get started.
It's just us today.
It's just us today. No special guests, but we will try to have all the answers for the questions you have.
That's right.
All right. Maria sent in a question and asked, what is the point of open season?
That is a great question. So open season takes place, this is federal benefits open season, takes place every year between the second Monday in November and the second Monday in December. It's usually 4 weeks, sometimes 5, sometimes you get a little extra time in there. But it is your opportunity to make changes to your federal employee health benefits program, your health insurance, your dental and vision insurance through the FSBP program, and if you're an active employee, the flexible spending accounts through the FSA Feds program. And this means you can make a change. You are not locked into the choices you've made in the past, and you don't have to have another qualifying life event like a change in family composition or something like that to make a change. You just get an opportunity. If things aren't working, that's fine. This is your opportunity to make a change. I will say with FEHB, with your health insurance, and with the FSBP program, your dental and vision insurance program through the federal government, if you like what you have and you want the same thing next year, you don't have to do anything. Right? It'll just roll over to next year. The FSA Feds program, the healthcare and the dependent care flexible spending accounts, you have to take action on those every single year. So even if you want the same amount that you elected for FSA Feds in 2026 that you had in 2025, you still have to go in and enter that in the FSA Feds website. But this is your opportunity to review what you got. Also a good time to just take a look at all of your insurance. If you got long-term care, life insurance, make sure beneficiary forms and address and things like that are up to date. But this time, particularly for health, dental, vision, and flexible spending.
Absolutely. And if you weren't aware and you're new here, we are AFSPA, the American Foreign Service Protective Association, but we have the Foreign Service Benefit Plan as our health insurance that we offer. So
That's
just
right.
to make that clear, and we use code FSBP, that's the acronym for it, which can sound very familiar to or similar to FEHB. So we'll try to
I appreciate that. Is very true. and if you're filling out those forms, our plan code is 401 for self only, 402 for family, and yes, 403 for self plus one. But for the Foreign Service Benefit Plan, if you're a two-party family, just you and a spouse or you and one child, you should enroll in the family plan.
Yes.
The self plus one will actually cost you more in premiums, $251 more in premiums in 2026 than the family plan. I'm not going to get into the calculus behind Opium's contribution and everything else, but just trust me, 402 family enrollment will save you money. So make that change.
Perfect. And we're going to get to a question that I know I've received a lot during chats or even at health fairs. Allison has asked, can you explain plan allowances? And how can you estimate the cost of a service with a plan allowance?
Sure. So a plan allowance is basically, it is set by insurance. It is set by your insurance carrier, or in our case, for instance, we work with Aetna to manage our the nationwide network that our members can access. And they have gone through, they have negotiated with providers for the cost of various services, and then they basically set a plan allowance, and that varies geographically. So typically it varies from zip code to zip code. It changes based on the service. But it is essentially what the value that is placed on the services that you're receiving. And typically, in-network providers have signed on and said they will accept payment up to that allowance. So let's say a service, the doctor would normally charge $150, but through negotiations, they've said with the insurance, they said, fine, $100, that's the insurance network's allowance. They'll accept that. They'll be in network with the provider. And so that is how we determine, we pay 90% of the plan allowance for in-network, members responsible for 10%. When a member goes out of network, and we do have out-of-network benefits, the plan pays 70% of the plan allowance. But let's go back to that $150. So if you go to an out-of-network provider, they want to bill $150, but the plan has said we only pay based on $100. The plan pays 70% of their plan allowance. So we pay $70. The member is responsible for 30% of the plan allowance, or $30, and any difference between the plan allowance and what the provider billed. So they would also have to pay that additional $50. So it's always to the member's benefit to go to an in-network provider. That's usually going to save you money. But how do you estimate that? So maybe you're coming from another plan where they worked on a copay versus a co-insurance basis. They said $40 every time you go to primary care or something like that. What I would recommend you do, because we do not reveal the plan allowances, that's not something that any plan shares publicly. But what you can do is maybe go back to an explanation of benefits from your current insurer, and when you went to a doctor that you plan on continuing to see, and see how much did the doctor charge? What did your current plan set as that allowance? So maybe they brought it down to 100, maybe they brought it to 90 or 110, whatever it is. See how much that is, and then you can use that. Insurance allowances from plan to plan are not going to vary a whole lot. So you can use that to sort of think, okay, insurance allowance was brought down to $100. I'd be responsible for 90%. Use that as your way to estimate. That's my best recommendation.
Absolutely. And I know if you've seen me at a couple of health fairs or seen me on VBF chats, I use the example of the CVS Minute Clinic. If they charge you $100, we cover you at 90% of the plan allowance. So that would be, we cover $90, and then you would pay $10, just 10% of the plan allowance. So
and we are just making these numbers up.
Yes, we are just
not
making these
necessarily
up.
what you're going to be billed, but I'll be honest, I try to use the $100 because it's easy for me to do the math in my head.
Same. All right. So now that we've covered that one, we are going to now answer a question also from Allison about a dental insurance plan. And I got this question at a health fair as well. So I have a separate dental insurance plan. Can you explain how the coordination of benefits will work between my dental insurance and with FSBP? Because FSBP does cover some things for dental.
Yeah, so let me just start with what FSBP covers. So FSBP does cover oral surgery, or I should say maxillofacial, or as I heard it referred to today, MaxFax. So much easier than saying maxillofacial, right?
It is,
MaxFax surgery. So like if you have impacted wisdom teeth, now, and they have to be surgically removed, not just pulled, but surgically removed, that is covered under FSBP.
Yes.
Right, we've got oral surgery benefits for that. We also have benefits for accidental injury to a sound natural tooth. There's benefits there. All right, so that we also have very limited benefits for preventive care. So something like a cleaning and exam for an adult twice a year is covered at, drum roll please, $36.
And that's pretty
If
good.
you have a dentist who's only charging you $36, you may want to look elsewhere. But what I also want to stress, though, is that if you have a FedVIP plan, right, one of the 21 different options that's available through the Federal Employee Dental Insurance Program, your health plan is primary for dental claims. So you have to submit, your dentist has to submit claims to your health plan first, have them pay their portion or deny it if the services aren't covered, and then it should secondarily go to your FedVIP insurance.
Yes.
When it comes to outside insurance, so maybe you have one of AFSPA's dental plans. We offer 4 dental plans, but not through the FedVIP program, or maybe you've got another dental plan, maybe through your spouse, or you just pay for one, whatever it is. You don't necessarily have to send it to your health plan first. I recommend you do so because we're going to pay some benefits, obviously, get your money, and then you can send it on to your dental plan from there. So that's essentially how it coordinates. There is not automatic moving of the claims documents from your health plan to your dental plan in any instance. So it may require your dentist or you to refile.
Right. And great answer to that question. And we're going to answer a question that I just saw in the chat from Julia, and we'll answer other questions in the chat as well. But this is a good reminder that we actually talk about the premium cost. I've been telling people that our premiums only went up by 7%, right, Kyle?
7.5.
7.5. Okay.
Yes.
And if you want to be really specific, the premium rate for self only increased by $7. And then for self plus one, it was $6.44. And then self and family, it increased to $17.32, or increased by, I should say.
Yep.
And so you can find the full list of premiums on AFSPA.org/open season, and I'll put that link up right now.
Yep.
But Kyle, I'm sure you have them off the top of your head.
Yeah, and so I don't, but I do have my handy dandy brochure here next to me.
I can
never go anywhere without it, right? So I will just say, these are the biweekly rates.
Yes.
So for self only, the biweekly, this is for active employees. Self only 401, it's $100.36 per pay period. For the self and family, it's $248.27 per pay period. And if for some reason you have self plus one, it's $257.96. So the enrollee portion for self only and the self and family went up 7.5%. Self plus one actually went up a little bit less percentage wise in terms of the enrollee portion, because last year it went up a lot more than the other two. And again, that has to do with what the government contributes to the premium. But overall, can't stress this enough, the family enrollment 402 will cost you less than self plus one. So please make that change. If you like the plan you have now, if you have FSBP and you like it and you want to keep the same plan and enrollment type next year, you don't have to do anything. It will just automatically roll. So no change in those plan numbers, no change in the plan name when it comes to foreign service benefit plan. So thank you very much for that question. I also saw Julie, climate around health insurance impacting the Federal Employee Health Benefits Program, as well as Service Health Benefits Program, separate from some of the concerns that were the news stories, I should say, that are coming up about like the place plans and so forth. So we are not impacted by that. Funding's still in place. OPM still paying on average 70% of the premium. These premiums, as listed in the plan brochures, are exactly as they're listed. That's what you will be responsible for paying. There will be some catch-up payments if you were furloughed. You'll start seeing maybe some of that come out when you get any back pay. You'll also see additional to make up for your premium for the FEHB. But the only change that we did see that was the result of a change in administration was that in 2026, no federal plans will be covering gender affirming care for sex trait modification. And I believe there I'm using the exact words from the executive order. Yes. There are some exceptions allowed. The exception process is going to vary a little bit from plan to plan. contact your plan, contact us if that affects you. But that is the one change that's taking. The other is all plans should be covering storage costs for eggs, sperm, and embryos that were created, particularly eggs and sperm, that are the result of iatrogenic infertility. So that resulting from treatment for another medical condition. Plans like FSBP are storage for everybody, regardless of the reason for infertility. That is the requirement for plans. A lot of information there to answer a quick question. So thank you.
For sure. And I just want to say, if you want to see every change that we've made to the plan this year, you can go to the link that's on the screen right now, and that is where you will find in detail what's changed. And then it'll also show all of our forms, all of our brochures. So if you are wanting to search for a specific surgery or something happening to you, or just to see if we are covering it, the plan brochure is there, and you can absolutely Command F and search for whatever you need. I will say that is unusual for some health plans to have the plan brochure so easily available, but we do. So definitely search there if you are looking for specifics. All right, so we're going to go back to some of our questions. The hot topic of this open season for us has been GLP-1s. So Kyle, I'm going to throw you a low ball. What weight loss drugs does FSBP cover?
I appreciate that. So specifically, I appreciate starting off easy. Specifically in the GLP-1 category, we have on our formulary as preferred drugs, tier 2, both Wegovy and Zepbound. So those are the GLP-1s that have been approved in the United States for specifically for diagnoses of obesity and other comorbidities along with being overweight or obese.
Absolutely. And if you are wanting to look at our formulary list, we have a QR code for you. That is the most recent. And when we get the 2026 version, we will upload it to the website as well. But this is where you can see what we cover and any type of drug there. And then we also have a price and medication tool through Express Scripts that you can search any medication and you will see if it is covered, what you'll pay for it, and what pharmacy it's at near you, and if you can get like a 30-day or 90-day supply. So just keep that in mind, and we'll have that link up later on for sure.
And I'll send you, I actually just recently received the PDF of the 2026 formulary, so I'll make sure we get that over. And then that Express Scripts pricing tool for FSBP is great because you can set it to 2026 and do the pricing for 2026 to see what your out-of-pocket costs would be.
Very helpful, very helpful. All right, so we're going to jump back to our questions. I had put them in order and I just realized that one of my questions went out of order. But someone asked, how can we get a preview of the Advanced Weight Management Program platform and what requirements there will be?
Oh my gosh. Well, you can. So the Advanced Weight Management Program is the new requirement that members who are obtaining their GLP-1s under the high option benefit, so not one of the Medicare plans, and are obtaining it in the United States. If you are getting your GLP-1 weight loss drugs from a retail pharmacy outside the United States, the requirement does not apply to you. But if you're obtaining it in the US through home delivery or retail pharmacy in the US, you have to participate in this new Advanced Weight Management Program. Unfortunately, that new program is not available until January 1st. Members can enroll starting January 1st. But if you want to learn more about it, you can go listen to our latest episode of AFSPA Talks, the podcast that Maddie and I co-host. And you can scan the QR code to go directly to that. You'll get to see the video version of it, or you can download it on your favorite podcast app platform. But basically, the main requirements are, four.
BMI.
I don't know why I'm doing two. Four.
Yeah,
four weigh-in. Two different requirements. Both of them 4 times a month. You must weigh in on the smart scale that Teladoc Health, this program is in partnership with Teladoc Health, weigh in 4 times per month on the smart scale that they will send you, and interact with the program through the app 4 times a month. And the app will be Teladoc Health's app. And interacting can be tracking your food, tracking your activity, engaging with a coach, even reading an article. So it is as involved as you want it to be. But this is intended to support members and their success in using these drugs, because we actually do see about 50%. That's come down a little bit, but recent studies have shown that members discontinue, not our members, sorry, patients discontinue taking these drugs. At the 12-month mark, about half of them have stopped taking the drugs, and sometimes that's because maybe they haven't lost weight at the rate they were hoping. Maybe they started taking, they upped their dosage too quickly. They didn't know what to expect when it came to side effects and so forth. So this whole program is meant to support members in getting the support that they need to understand these drugs, how to change their lifestyle to see the best results long term.
Yes. All right. We're going to do a couple of GLP-1 questions in a row. So next question is, I'm on Zepbound currently. If I see a weight management doctor every 3 months and participate in physical therapy through Hinge Health, will I still need to enroll in the advanced weight management program?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And again, I'm assuming, especially given the details you shared, that you are in the United States, the answer is yes. Everyone who's obtaining the drugs in the United States, either through retail or home delivery, will have to participate in this program. It is part of the prior approval process. And so just a little bit more about that. For your initial fill in January, 1, your doctor may need to submit a new prior authorization. 2, you must be enrolled in the program. You don't have to start engaging with it just yet, but you must be enrolled in the program before you go and look to fill that prescription. So I saw somebody ask if they've got to refill it in January. Before you go to the refill, make sure your doctor has completed a new prior authorization. Make sure you've enrolled in the program, because all that information is going to be part of approving the drug, the coverage for the drug, I should say. Then after that, let's say you get the fill in January and you go for a refill then in April. If that's the case, then you will have to have been participating for the 3 months prior to that with the weigh-ins and the engagement and so forth. So for Denise, who asked this question, you can step on the scale 4 times a month. You can set it up to track your activity, track your food 4 times per month. You don't have to do the coaching. That's an option for people who want it, but there are lower levels of engagement, but you must enroll and participate in the program to have continuing coverage for GLP-1 drugs for weight loss.
Yes, yes. And just to clarify, in case you weren't aware or haven't listened to the podcast yet, GLP-1 drugs, you do not have to use the advanced weight management program if you have type 2 diabetes.
Correct.
Or any type of diabetes, I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah, typically the GLP-1s are only prescribed for type 2, and it's different drugs, right? Yes. In the US at least, it's Ozempic and Mounjaro, and there is no program for that. However, I will say that we do have a diabetes management program to support members with diabetes. I have used it myself. It's through Teladoc. I found it incredibly helpful, both in just you get a free meter and free supplies as part of it, and then you will have access to coaches and articles and similar food tracking and so forth. So it was very helpful for me, especially following my initial diagnosis, but also years later. So
perfect. Right. Okay. Next question, what can I expect to pay for Zepbound?
Sure. So again, assuming that you're in the United States, getting it through the high option benefits, we are changing our prescription cost shares next year. So Zepbound is a tier 2 drug. That's a preferred brand name non-specialty drug. And for a 90-day fill, we are changing our out-of-pocket costs for the member to 35% of the cost up to a maximum of $300. So typically for Mounjaro, given the retail cost right now, and I don't know what's going to happen next year, especially with some of the programs that were announced, but typically for a 3-month, 90-day fill, you would be paying the $300.
Gotcha. All right. All right. One more. Is the advanced weight management program for GLP-1s different from the other weight management programs already offered by FSBP?
That's a great question, Jamie. And it's a little bit different. So currently we do offer a weight management program also through Teladoc Health or through Livongo, depending on the branding and where it's been updated. But we offer a weight management program. This, because we're adding the word advanced in there, it actually is advanced. It has a little bit more support. It does a little bit more in terms of coaching. And of course, it ties into the the approval for the GLP-1 drug. So that is sort of the advanced portion there. So going to be a little bit more available to you, and it's also migrating everything into the One Teladoc Health app rather than the Livongo app that was available previously.
Yes. All right. We're going to hop off of GLP-1 questions for a bit. Ron asked, why is Foreign Service Benefit Plan precluded from HSAs or FSAs?
Okay, so Ron, I'm gonna answer what I think you're asking there. And so first of all, HSAs or health savings accounts are only available when paired with a high deductible health plan. The Foreign Service Benefit Plan is a more traditional fee-for-service plan. We are not a high deductible health plan. Our deductible is $300 for self only and $600 for the family. Not high. Typically, you're seeing it thousands of dollars in a high deductible health plan, which is why it has a health savings account. Separate though, the FSA, the flexible spending account, you can, if you're an active employee, you can sign up for FSA Feds and use it in conjunction with the Foreign Service Benefit Plan. In fact, when you're signing up for FSA Feds, there's an option where they can ask you to select your health plan, select Foreign Service Benefit Plan if you've got us, and then when you send us a claim, we'll pay our portion of it, and then we will automatically send it to FSA Feds, so you don't have to file it twice. So it's electronic crossover. So please make use of the FSA Feds program if you're eligible. If you're interested in HSA, there are a lot of high deductible health plans now in the federal program, and some good options for you to explore.
For sure. All right. We got a question from SL. They said, are there any plans to make the massage, chiropractic, and acupuncture benefits a maximum amount per year rather than per session?
Sure. This question comes up regularly. The answer is no. So I think what we're asking is, could you give us $3,000 toward massages, and we'll just spend it, all in one go, or $30 a week, or whatever it is? There are not. We are not looking at that as a pool of money at this time, and I don't anticipate looking to make that change in the future. These benefits, in fact, chiropractic, especially in the U.S., if you go to a chiropractic who's in network with Aetna, typically you're going to pay nothing out of pocket because the negotiated rates are lower than the $75 benefit. Acupuncture, you can find some in-network providers too. Massage, that's more difficult. But I will say is that this benefit is not meant to cover the entire cost of a service, especially when it comes to massage.
Right.
It is meant to make it more accessible to you and to cover a portion of it, and in some cases a significant portion, but it's not meant to cover 100% of the cost of the service.
Yes. All right. And if you weren't aware, we're just saying things. You can get 50 massages, 50 chiropractic visits, and 50 acupuncture visits. For each visit, we will pay up to $75 for massage. Yes,
$75. But I do want to note, because we've had this problem come up recently, we typically only cover one of each type of service per day. So we're not going to cover 2 massages in one day. We had this come up recently where there's a provider who I think is only providing one service, but billing it as 2 separate massages to try to maximize benefits. We're not paying for 2 different massages on the same day. We'll pay up to $75 for massage service on one day. We would pay for massage, chiro, and acupuncture visit all on the same day, but just one of each.
Yes.
Okay.
And for massages specifically, there's no in or out of network. We just ask that they're licensed. And when you submit that massage claim, all we ask is that you have the license number and then the receipt, and
itemized. It needs to be itemized, please. We want to know what you got.
Right. All right. Moving on to a question we just got in the chat. AK has asked, I'm retired and have been with AFSPA for 5 or 6 years. If I switch plans for a year, would I be able to come back to AFSPA if I wanted?
AK, you're breaking my heart if you're going to leave us. No. Absolutely. That's what open season's about. Find the plan that's right for you. So yes, you've had us. If you leave, you can always come back during a future qualifying life event or a future open season. Yep.
Yes. And I know we've gotten lots of questions about that. I think I have one lined up later on. So just to restate, if you've been with us for 1 year, or you've had us at any time, you can come back to us no matter what. So, well, as long as you're eligible. And we did get a question. Someone said, is there a timeline for submitting reimbursement? So I'm assuming that's for massages.
No, there's a timeline for submitting any claim,
Right.
and it is December 31st of the year after you receive the service. So, for instance, any claims from 2025 need to be submitted by December 31st of 2026. That is the timely filing deadline, and that is consistent across all of the FEHB plans.
Perfect. All right. We got a question from Joseph. He asked, can FSBP be contacted 24/7 in case of an emergency? For example, if I needed pre-approval for an unexpected surgery or procedure, how would I proceed if it is outside FSBP's business hours?
Sure. That's a great question. So no, we do not have 24-hour customer service right now. If you're in the US and it's an emergency and you're literally coming in through the emergency room and there's procedures following that, typically there's like a 2 to 3 day business day window to follow up on that pre-certification in that case. If you're overseas, we don't require pre-certification for emergencies. Go get the services you need. You may have to pay out of pocket at the time and then submit to us if you're not going to one of our direct billing partners. But that is get the care that you need.
Absolutely. All right. Allison has asked, can you confirm that NASA civil servants are eligible to enroll in the Foreign Service Benefit Plan?
Yes.
Yep.
And I will direct anybody who has questions to our website at afspa.org/eligibility. We have all the federal agencies listed there. And in some cases, you may need to expand it and see exactly which offices. Because, for instance, Department of Labor, one small office is eligible, not everybody.
Correct. All right. We're going to jump to some. Well, I'm going to jump back to this question. Someone has asked, is there a way to use the massage benefits with a massage membership type of program?
There is. And I know places like Massage Envy, not to promote them, but just as an example, offer this. So you sign up for a year and you have to pay every month, or maybe you pay at the beginning of the year for it. Yes, but we can't reimburse you for the cost of, let's say, a month's membership until you've actually received a service. So you can't just send us, we could not accept the invoice just saying, look, here was November's membership fee. It would have to be, here's November's membership fee, and here's evidence in whatever form of a massage received that matches up with that. So we pay for services after they're received.
All right. We're about to jump into some Medicare questions, and I know Rebecca posted this right at the top, so I want to make sure that we got to it. But when it comes to Medicare, what does FSBP cover if they're overseas?
Sure. Assuming you have original Medicare and you have FSBP, that would be your secondary payer. We pay primary, though. Yep. For anything outside the United States, Medicare is not going to cover you. Your Foreign Service Benefit Plan covers you per all of the terms in the brochure. We would pay primary 100% for inpatient, 100% for preventive care and maternity, and 90% for most outpatient services after that.
Yes. And then also a question we got in the chat. Do you have to have Medicare B for the special prescription drug plan, which I'm assuming they're talking about the prescription drug plan, not the Advantage one?
Yep. All right, June, thank you so much for this question. It's a delight to have you in so many events this year. No, you just have to have Medicare A or B. You can have both, or you can just have Medicare A. And in that case, you can sign up for the Medicare Prescription Drug Plan, which is officially named the FSBP Express Scripts Medicare Prescription Drug Plan, commonly called the PDP. You can find out more information at afspa.org/PDP, like Prescription Drug Plan. There's a pricing tool there, a pharmacy search tool, more information. There's also a form that you can fill out on that page, a secure form. Put your information in that allows you to sign up. So you just have to have Medicare A or B, and you can opt into that. Have savings. Do check and make sure, the Part D IRMA, the income-related monthly adjustment amount, which may be added on. We'll pay the standard premium, but you may have a little bit more each month. Check that against your income. That information is out there on Social Security Administration's website based on income statements from 2024. But yes, we'd love to have you in the PDP. It's going to save you money and save the plan money.
Yep. And more PDP questions. Someone asked, I'm a retired FSBP member. Is it mandatory that I enroll in the prescription drug plan? Medicare keeps alerting me that I haven't enrolled and could be charged a late enrollment penalty if I don't, if I have no other drug coverage.
Gotcha. Here's the deal. One, you do have other drug coverage, assuming you got, well, you said it, you're an FSBP member.
Mhm.
And if you go to your, I'm glad I pulled this out. It's a nice prop for today's
Right.
show. If you have your FSBP brochure, or you can find it online at our open season page, inside the front cover, there's a statement actually about Part D from, and this is all FEHB brochures from OPM, that basically says enrolling in a commercial Medicare prescription drug plan wouldn't really get you anything. So no, you do not, because you have creditable coverage. If you were to enroll in one later, you would not have a late enrollment penalty because you have creditable coverage through FSBP. To answer your main question, you do not, it is not mandatory for you to enroll in the FSBP Express Scripts Medicare prescription drug plan. It may be a good idea, it may save you money, but it's not mandatory. And you can, Medicare is talking more about the commercial plans that apply to most people who don't have FEHB coverage into retirement.
Right. And Rebecca has asked a follow-up question. Can you explain what FSBP pays if I am in the US and don't elect Medicare Part
Sure.
B?
Yeah, we would pay exactly what we've always paid. We would be the primary payer for those services. We pay 90% for most outpatient. I hope you sign up for Medicare Part A, because usually it doesn't cost you anything, just saves you money when you have inpatient services. We pay secondary on that, but for anything else, your doctor's visits, labs, imaging, things like that, we would pay primary, just as we always have. You got a few extra protections, and I would encourage you to go to our YouTube page, because I have a whole, I know if you didn't have enough, go watch 45 more minutes of me talking. But there's a video from March where we did a whole overview of how FEHB generally and Medicare work together. And we also have, that'll take you right to the video. And also on our main website, AFSPA.org, there's a place under FSBP where we've got more information about specifically how FSBP and Medicare work together. Includes information about original Medicare, if you don't take Part B, Medicare Advantage, the PDP, and so forth. But basically, if you don't have Medicare Part B, you've still got us, and we remain primary.
All right. I'm going to leave that up for a second. It looks like we got a question in the chat asking about if a child aged out but was a member of FSBP, I'm assuming as a dependent, can he call AFSPA years later if they may want to get one of the ancillary programs, mainly healthcare, dental/vision? Is there an age limit?
Yep, no, they should be able to call and enroll in their own right, starting at age 19, actually. They can become members in their own right, and then can look at our dental plans, our life plans, critical illness, and so forth. The healthcare, they would have to, we don't offer healthcare directly to people. Thank you. To dependents, they would have to either enroll through TCC, it's all through federal agencies, or they would have to become a federal employee in their own right and to select and be eligible for FEHB to select FSBP as one of their options.
Absolutely. And don't worry if you asked a question, I'm trying to get to it in the chat. I'm just trying to remain on certain topics so we can cover everything. June asked follow-up, how do we pay for the special PDP?
Yep. So Medicare will there's no payment, there's no premium. We take care of the premium. But if you are subject to the IRMA, which may be the case, then that comes out directly of your Social Security each month. The Social Security will take that, whatever the amount is, out of your Social Security, deduct it before they direct deposit your check. If you are not taking Social Security, they will send you a notification. You can either sign up by sending checks on a quarterly basis, or you can do a direct withdrawal from your bank account.
Yes. And Rebecca, just letting you know that you are eligible as an Air Force
civilian
plan. Yep. All right. And then there was another question. Sarah asked, when I look at Teladoc, I don't see an option yet for advanced weight management program. Will that appear on January 1st to enroll?
It should, yes. And I've been in touch with the folks at Teladoc to make sure that is going to be available starting January 1st. It is a contract year issue, and I'm sorry we don't have it available sooner. But starting January 1st, you should be able to enroll in that. You can enroll in the regular weight management program right now, but the advanced weight management is not in place until January.
Yes. All right. We got a question earlier about ancillary insurance programs. So this one is perfect for this. I'm retired. Can I enroll in your other services/products like the life or travel insurance?
Absolutely. You can go to afspa.org/AIP,
Yeah.
which stands for Ancillary Insurance Programs. And you'll find links to all of our other programs there. Life insurance, there's forms on our website to sign up for the various programs. And the travel insurance, we work with an outside company, so you'll find information there about those options. And we have the brochures on our website, so you can even do some research ahead of time to find out what would work best for you.
Right. And you do not have to be,
Oh, yeah.
there's no, like anyone can enroll in that, correct?
Right. You have to be eligible for AFSPA membership,
Yes.
but membership's free. You don't, I think what I heard you say was you don't have to be enrolled in FSBP
Yes.
to go into one of the other programs, and that is correct.
All right. Janet has asked from the chat, who should the medical folks be billing first if I'm in the United States, Medicare or Aetna/AFSPA?
Sure. So Janet, assuming you are retired, then they should be billing Medicare first. We are a secondary payer to Medicare. So Medicare is the primary payer for medical services, and then the follow-up bill should come to us for secondary consideration.
Yes. All right. Question from Sharon. I have Medicare and I want to take advantage of the massages offered through FSBP. Does Medicare have to approve them, or do I send a receipt directly to FSBP?
Sure. So Medicare doesn't cover massage. And so in this case, assuming you have original Medicare, not the Medicare Advantage plan, rules are different there, but assuming you have original Medicare and FSBP, you send those massage claims directly to us first, because Medicare is just going to reject them. It's not a covered service for them. So send it directly to us and we'll get them reimbursed.
Yep. All right. Laura asked, my doctor is telling me they no longer take Aetna, and since Aetna helps process claims, this has become a point of contention with my doctor's office. How will this impact me in 2026?
Yeah. So, Laura, thank you for this question. And we've gotten versions of this question throughout open season. And this does happen because providers go through negotiations with networks, whether it's Aetna or United or Blue Cross Blue Shield or whoever. And those agreements typically only last for 3 years, maybe a little bit longer, sometimes less, but then they come up for renegotiation. And the network, in this case, Aetna, is trying to keep costs down, and the provider wants to charge more to cover their costs and to potentially make a profit. And so the two can't always come together. And when that happens, the providers will leave the network. And if that's the case, there may be a possibility that they come back to the network in the future. It's not guaranteed. And so there's two options here. One is you can find another doctor who's in network to take advantage of those in-network savings, or you can continue to see the doctor, and we will provide our out-of-network benefits. So those are the two main options. We still cover 70% of the plan allowance when you go out of network, and that may be the best way if you really like that provider and want to continue seeing them.
Yes. And all right, someone has asked, how can I get detailed coverage information for IVF?
Sure. So if you are already a member of FSBP, I would encourage you to contact our fertility advocates. First of all, go to the brochure, page 45 to 47. Can you tell I've been answering this question?
Right.
45 to 47, you'll find detailed information about infertility services. IVF actually starts on page 46 under the heading of Advanced Reproductive Technology, or ART. So there is information there about what's required. We do require prior approval for IVF procedures, whether the services are received in the U.S. or anywhere in the world. This is one of those few that we require prior approval outside the U.S. You can find that there. You must go to an Institutes of Excellence infertility provider if you're in the U.S., and they can talk you through that. There's also more information on the clinical policy bulletin about infertility. That is listed in the brochure on where you can find that information, and how to access that clinical policy bulletin that gets into the details about what's covered, what the requirements are, and so forth. But again, you can contact one of the fertility advocates, information on page 46, or even one of the care managers. But if you're not a member yet, they can't provide that sort of support to you until you're a member.
All right. And this is, we still have more questions, but I know we're trying to keep it within the hour. So we're 15 minutes from 12. So if you have any questions that you want answered, send them in the chat right now, and we'll try to make sure that we get those answered.
We're fighting against my laptop battery also. I broke
Right.
my power converter when I tried to plug it in here. So we're 31%. We're good.
Okay. All right. Good to know. All right. So Brett has asked, you specifically mentioned getting GLP-1 through mail order. My wife tried and was told she could not get it from Express Scripts, so had to get the doctor to redo the prescription through CVS.
So Brett, I don't know exactly why that might have occurred. My first thought is that maybe it's a 30-day prescription. If your wife is starting out on the drug, oftentimes doctors may write a 30-day prescription, especially if they're in the process of like titrating up the drug. If that's the case, 30-day prescriptions have to go through retail. I also know that Express Scripts is in the process of updating their supply chain for GLP-1s because there were shortages throughout the last year. Officially, they're over, but that doesn't mean you can always find them everywhere. But then those 90-day supplies have to be either through home delivery or through a smart 90 retail, so CVS, Walgreens, and a handful of independent pharmacies, or through home delivery. So that's my best answer to that. I'm not aware of this being it should be available through home delivery through the in-guide pharmacy. So, but I'm not sure about that. I'm sorry that happened. I hope she was able to obtain the medication at a retail pharmacy. I'll check with our Express Scripts team just to make sure everything's flowing correctly, though. Thank you.
Yes. All right. While we wait for some questions to go through the chat, I am going to ask some common questions that I got through VBF and the health fairs that I attended. So it shouldn't be too crazy, but Kyle, are referrals required for anyone wanting to seek a specialist?
Love that. Love that question. No, we do not require referrals. We may ask for additional documentation to establish medical necessity of seeing a particular provider or particular specialist, but no, we do not require referrals and you don't have to select a primary care provider or anything like that. We encourage you to establish a relationship, but you don't have to select one. That is typically something done through like an HMO model, and that's just, we operate differently.
We do. And then another question we got a lot was, I lost it, obviously. So, if one person, someone has asked in the chat, actually, may I continue dental and vision into retirement?
Assuming that you remain eligible for FEHB coverage, you should also remain eligible for FSBP coverage.
Yes.
And so you can double check all that information at benefeds.com. I'm sorry, they've updated it, benefeds.gov. And there's information in there. You can click on Learn, and that'll take you into an area where you can learn about eligibility as a retiree. But yes, typically, as long as your eligibility for FEHB continues, then so does your eligibility for FSBP. The premiums will be taken out of your monthly annuity. Yes.
All right. Janet has asked in regards to referrals, so can I just go to a podiatrist?
Assuming, yes, you've got FEHB, you don't have to go to a primary care and get a referral. You just go to the podiatrist. And I tell you what, I made the mistake of wearing new shoes to walk around London this week, and I need to see one myself. I've got blister pads everywhere. So go for both of us, Janet. Get the care that you need.
All right. And the question I got a lot was about emergency room visits. How does that work if someone is taken to the emergency room, especially if they have no control of whether it was in network, out of network? How's that going to work? Like, if something were to happen to them and they can't say like, oh, I want to go to this hospital.
Yep. Okay. So again, go in network where you can, and most hospitals are going to be in network, right? I think my feed's getting a little choppy, so I apologize for any disconnect between video and audio, but most hospitals are going to be in network. If you go to the emergency room and it turns out to be out of network, but it was the nearest place and that's where they took you, you are protected by the No Surprises Act. We would handle that with you in the event of an emergency. We can work with you. People run into is they may go to a hospital network, but it turns out the doctor who treats them is out of network. In that case, again, we will work to pay those bills at in-network rates because of protections we have in place and also the No Surprises Act.
All right. I have just checked the form, and it looks like people have been submitting questions to that while we've been live. So I will be going through a couple of those. It looks like, all right, that is not one we can answer. For retired members, since I think you can only get massages by a if approved by a medical provider, does the medical provider need to be a medical doctor?
Under the Medicare Advantage plan, your treating provider needs to provide the referral. So any questions about the Medicare Advantage plan, please check with the Medicare Advantage team. I am not licensed in Medicare Advantage, so I can't answer all those questions. I'll have to refer you to the Medicare Advantage and call that number that's at fsbphealth.com/retiree.
All right. And Bettina, I was looking through the form to see if I missed your question. This is what they've said, but Kyle, the question is, it seems that Bettina is retired, or maybe Bettina's husband is a retired FSO. His wife is currently working as a civil service officer of state. He is on her FEHB health insurance plan as self plus one. It seems cheaper for us each to do self-only plans. If I moved my own plan as self-only now, can I add her to my plan later as a self plus one?
I just want to make sure both people are eligible for FEHB in their own right. Is that right?
Yes. Yes.
Then yes, you can both have self plus one. Absolutely saves you money. And then at a future qualifying life event or future open season, you can combine into a single family or self plus one plan. Yes.
Gotcha. So they can do self only and then combine into self plus one.
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. Gotcha. They want to. Yes.
All right. Okay. I hope that answered that, Bettina. I'm sorry for missing that question. Bernard has asked, does eligibility extend to former spouse status associated with CIA?
Good question. I would answer with a question, which is, was the eligible employee or retiree covered under FSBP at the time? And was the former spouse covered under FSBP as a dependent at some point? They can select FSBP. They have to be covered at some.
Bernard said the former spouse is my 10Y. 10-year partner. I don't know if that changes your answer.
And I was assuming, no, it does not, but I'm assuming you have FSBP, that they have had it. They wouldn't be selecting it for the first time when they're a former spouse.
Okay. Colt has asked, how can I ask Aetna to not pay the copay out of Aetna Health Fund for a given claim? Most radiology places force you to pay the copay before providing services, when Aetna automatically pays the copay.
Sure. So they should be submitting to us a bill that shows that you've paid, so that it will come, that the reimbursement would come to you. If this happens that the provider is getting double paid, the provider should either reimburse you for the difference, or it just sounds like the invoice that the provider is submitting is not accurately showing what's been paid. So according to the terms of the brochure and the way the program is set up, we pay automatically if it shows there's a member responsibility. So there's not a way to really turn that off on a person-by-person basis.
All right. I'm going to go back to Mark, our retired FSO. He asked, she can move, so his wife, can she move over to my plan as self plus family or one on the date of her retirement from state, or only during open season?
Yeah, so she should be able to do it on, I would encourage you to email us, and we can get you one of our eligibility people to get a little bit more detail, but yeah.
Uh-oh. We may have lost Kyle for a moment. All right. I think we may have lost Kyle for a second. but that is okay. We did get a question. I believe I can answer this one. Wasn't aware of the prior option to use the CVS Minute Clinic until there was a raised cost mentioned for 2026. Is the option of CVS Minute Clinics new? I do not know if they are new, but I know that we've always covered like urgent cares or walk-in clinics. And so we just added a cost share for non-emergency services at CVS Minute Clinics and walk-in clinics. So that just means, you can go to a CVS Minute Clinic for non-emergent services. Let's see if Kyle might be back. Hello, Kyle. You're here.
Hello. Sorry about that. It wasn't even my battery dying. I don't know what happened, but
Oh, no.
I'm on my phone now.
Okay, we can hear you. You're clear. Everything's good.
Okay. All right. So
I was answering this question, yeah. And I didn't know if CVS Minute Clinic was new, but I knew that we had always covered like walk-in clinics and urgent cares.
Yeah. So we have always covered walk-in clinics, retail, and so forth. And the benefit for urgent care is different than for the CVS Minute Clinic, which we treat like a retail clinic. So we have covered that at zero cost share, and then other retail clinics at a $10 copay. I think typically if they were in network. We are changing that next year. There is not a new option for $0 cost share other than telehealth through Teladoc. So you'll be subject to the calendar year deductible and 10% co-insurance if you go to an in-network retail clinic. You can still go to urgent care clinics for a $35 flat copay.
Gotcha. All right. Going back through the form, Karen has asked, I'm enrolled in 402. If I travel overseas for an extended time, maybe 3 months, am I and my spouse covered for medical issues during our time out of the U.S., or do we have to have any additional coverage?
No, we would cover you. We're your primary for coverage anywhere in the world. Things that we don't cover that you may want to consider travel insurance for would be things like return to your site of departure in the event of an injury that you weren't anticipating. It's grim, but repatriation of remains we would not pay for. And we would only pay for ambulance transit to the nearest facility equipped to handle whatever issue you may be facing. So we wouldn't, for instance, pay for transport back to the United States if you were facing a major surgery or something like that as a result of an injury. So nope, but we've got you otherwise.
All right. And looks like Karen has asked another question about their plan is 402. She said that her gynecologist is starting her on hormone replacement therapy. Does insurance pay for this? Great question.
It does. And you can use that, the Express Scripts. That's express-scripts.com/FSBP. You can use that pricing tool to look up the exact drug, the exact hormone replacement therapy that your doctor is recommending, to price it and see if there are alternatives that may be preferred rather than a non-preferred, ways for you to minimize your out-of-pocket cost.
Yes. All right. Karen also asked another question, but it's a good one. I'm retired civil service. They have the 402 plan. I retired overseas and did not elect Medicare B since it does not pay overseas. We have now moved to Florida. Do I have to sign up for Medicare B? And if so, will I be penalized for delay enrollment?
So, Karen, not sure how old you are, but one, you do not have to sign up for Medicare Part B. Without Medicare, we're still primary for you. We don't require that you sign up for it, right? Second, if you were to sign up, let's say you're now 67. I'm just going to pull that number out of nowhere. Let's say you're 67. It's 2 years after you were initially eligible for Medicare. You would be paying a 20% penalty on top of your Medicare premium because there were 2 12-month periods that you could have signed up and didn't. So and that 20% penalty would be for the rest of the time that you're enrolled in Medicare Part B.
Gotcha. All right. We're going to wrap up some of the questions. Someone asked, why is Self Plus One more expensive than Self Plus Family?
All right. I was trying to avoid the calculus. I'm kidding. So the overall premium for both Family and Self Plus One they're very close. Self Plus One actually costs less than Family in the overall premium. Then the government comes in and does their calculations, which I don't have full insight into, about exactly how much they're going to cover for each enrollment type: self only, Self Plus One, and Self and Family. And it's not just a percentage, there's a percentage plus an absolute maximum amount that they will cover. Our Self Plus One, So Close to the Family, they don't cover as much in terms of actual dollar amount of the Self Plus One as they do for family. So the enrollee portion for family comes out to be less than the Self Plus One. I'm just pulling up my government share here. So the government pays for family on a biweekly basis. They $744.83 every 2 weeks. For Self Plus One, the government pays $711.17 every 2 weeks. So you can see there's basically a $33 difference there, and that's where it all comes out. I hope that helps. You can look at the full premiums on the back of the brochure.
Absolutely. And before I go into my spiel about all the things for open season, one last question off topic. But Alicia from our forum has asked, is there anything AFSPA can say about long-term care products that are in development? Any innovations in this field, and what's the best way to learn what the options are?
Yeah, a lot of the long-term care products are out there are not traditional long-term care anymore. There are a hybrid of term life insurance and long-term care. We're actually looking at this as for some of our staff benefits right now. And our group enhanced life policy, our GEL plan that we offer under life insurance, has some long-term care benefits. It's not long-term care insurance, but it has some benefits, including advanced payment and things like that. So I'd encourage you to check that out, just as an example. But what I would also recommend is go back to afspa.org/AIP, and you'll find a link there for professional services. And under that, you'll see that we have some partnerships for long-term care consultants. In fact, there's a group called Long-Term Care Consultants, Inc., based out of Richmond. That group is great. They stay up to date. That's all they do. They help people understand what their long-term care options are. They help them figure out what's best for them, and especially, you want to use it overseas or just domestically. Do you want to stay in your home? Are you willing to go to a long-term care facility? Things like that. They can help find something that's right for you, because there's a limited number of companies that even write long-term care policies anymore. So that has actually been my first stop as I'm exploring the options for myself. So I'd encourage you to do the same.
Absolutely. All right. I am going to do my spiel of all last open season things. So Kyle, you can take a breath. But I'm going to put this up on the screen one more time. This is the Medicare and the FEHB video that Kyle did in March. If you have questions about any parts of Medicare, that is where you're going to want to go. And Kyle, we got a comment actually the other day saying that you give a very unbiased view of Medicare and the FEHB. So even if you're not looking at staying with AFSPA or FSBP, Kyle gives some information on that. So I'll leave that up for anyone to scan. In the meantime, I'm going to tell you about all the ways you can still interact with us during open season. Open season isn't over. We may be doing our live here, but open season is still going on, and it will last for the federal season or for federal employees until December 8th. That is Monday, December 8th. In the meantime, if you want to ask us more questions, you have multiple opportunities to do that. Kyle will be hosting a presentation of the full presentation of what we offer as a plan on November 25th. So right before Thanksgiving, that's a Tuesday. And that will be, I have the calendar pulled up right here, so I can tell you exactly when that is. That'll be on, or is that a Monday? No, that's a Tuesday. Sorry.
It's Tuesday, I think.
It is Tuesday. It's going to be at 2 p.m. So definitely register at afspa.org/events. You will find it on the little calendar. Register for that if you have questions you want to ask Kyle, or if you just want a deep dive of what the Foreign Service Benefit Plan offers. During that day as well, you can register for the virtual benefits fair, and one of our team members will be on the chat. It's a live chat day from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern time. And you can ask your questions there about our plan and look at our booth. Kyle has a video there for you. So that is on the same day. But if you want questions answered directly from Kyle and some other members of AFSPA, or AFSPA employees, I should say, definitely sign up for the webinar. And that's 2 p.m. Eastern time. Want to clarify that. Everything we say is in Eastern time. And then we also have another live Q&A. This is just going to be Kyle giving a brief summary of changes to the Foreign Service Benefit Plan. And he's going to be doing 2 of them on December 1st, Monday, December 1st at 5 a.m. Eastern time. and then another one at 12 p.m. Eastern time. So there's 2 options if you're abroad, and 5 a.m. like Kyle would. If you're in London, that's 10 a.m. your time. Definitely log in and register for that. You do not have to be a Foreign Service Benefit Plan member to sign up for those. This is for anyone who wants to learn about it and ask any questions they may have. And then Kyle is having another webinar the next day, and that will be at 10 p.m. Eastern time. And you can sign up there to learn more. And then he will also have a live Q&A on December 4th at 3 p.m. Eastern time. I have missed a day. I'm sorry. December 3rd.
There's a lot of me coming up.
Yeah. December 3rd is, I believe, the last virtual benefits fair live chat day. So that is right before the end of open season. Ask your questions. That's available for any federal health plan. So if you're looking around, definitely go there, ask your questions. And the live chat's available from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern time. Mentioned Kyle's live Q&A on the 4th at 3 p.m. Eastern time. And then our final webinar is going to be on December 5th, a Friday, and it will be with Kyle. He'll give a brief presentation of what's changing, and that will be at 2 p.m. Eastern time. So you have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I believe 6 webinars left. So if you have and you didn't get all of your questions answered here, head to those. You'll see some of us there, and you'll definitely see Kyle there. In the meantime, if you are wanting to learn about the prescription changes that we've had, we have an episode out for AFSPA Talks where we talk about the tier list and why we changed it and what certain drugs fall under. So definitely check out that episode. We did that with Express Scripts. And then obviously GLP-1s are a hot topic, and you can go to AFSPA Talks as well to watch a GLP-1 requirement video where we dive deeper into the advanced weight management program and what the requirements are and things like that. And then if you just want a general open season video of all things changing, we also have that for you on the podcast. And that was posted at the beginning of this month. So go there. And then if you have questions about any other programs we offer, there's an episode, I promise you. And you can also watch this again, if you're watching it live and you miss something, it'll be available on our YouTube channel immediately after we end the live show, I should say. And I think our last thing is the next AFSPA Live will be December 18th, right before Christmas or any of the holidays, honestly. So it's a little earlier. It's not the last Thursday of the month, just like this month, so that we can make sure you watch before everyone spends time with their family or takes off. So December 18th, and we hope to see you there. And we hope that you have a great and easy open season. And we hope to see you at some webinars and other events.
Yes, and a very, very happy Thanksgiving to all of you.
Yes.
Thank you for your continued service to our country. And thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thanks for watching our broadcast. Join us again the last Thursday of every month at 11 a.m. Eastern. Also, don't forget to look for AFSPA Cares on all of our social media channels: YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn.